Welcome to TTMCast One-on-One with Jeff Baker. Every Wednesday, we'll bring one-on-one interviews with hobby professionals, former athletes, authors, and collectors. Sponsored by Certified Sports Guarantee. Go to csgcards.com for sports card grading for the win. And by sportscollectorsdaily.com. If it happens in the hobby, you'll find it on sportscollectorsdaily.com. And sponsored by GemRate.com. The latest grading statistic from the 4 major grading companies is just a click away. Visit GemRate.com. It's free. Sponsored by Collects, the free app for scanning and valuing your cards. Use the app to build your collection and buy and sell with other collectors. Turn the hobby into your side hustle. And now, here's our host, Jeff Baker.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to TTMcast One-on-One. This is our Wednesday show. It is August 30th. We are closing out the month of August. My name is Jeff Baker, and you're listening to TTMcast One-on-One. I'm talking to you from Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host from Arlington, Texas. His name is Drew Pelto. He creates videos. He creates Twitter content. Check him out at DFW Grapher. Hi, Drew.
Hello.
How's the video going so far?
Good. I got one just posted up yesterday, actually. Totally
I know,
forgot about that. We're talking about we're talking about all the stuff we're talking about all the stuff, getting everything together. I'm like, yeah, I haven't really done anything this week, and I completely forgot. No, I got that done yesterday and uploaded it. But yeah, it is up on there. So youtube.com/DFW Grapher. You can see what I got in the mail and any in-person graphing I did over the last 2 weeks or so.
Very cool. Hey, I want to give a shout out to our friend Sal Barry at Puck Junk. He's got a new newsletter. Have you been reading it?
I haven't yet. I still need to sign up for it there. I did see that it has officially launched, though.
It's fantastic. Fantastic. Great. If you like hockey, he has everything in there. So good job, Sal. Keep it up. Go to puckjunk.com, sign up for his free newsletter. I think I think it's weekly. It's nice. Outstanding. It's a great newsletter especially for hockey guys. So I highly recommend it. That should be my TTMcast stamp of approval, but we're not doing that today. Yeah, so I'll give a shout out to Sal.
Yeah.
Very good. So we've got Ryan Friedman from auctionreport.com. Ryan is the founder of Auction Report. I talked to Ryan about, 10 days ago, maybe. So we reviewed the National a little from an auction standpoint. We also talked about all the big results, the high prices that are being found in our auction, in the auction portion of our hobby, and we just really talk about auction. So that is coming up. It's really interesting story. I'll get it right, Drew. It's early in the morning.
Yep.
Just remember, our friends at Collects, their marketplace is now open. You can get a $10 coupon from Collects. All you have to do is just send us your Collects name and your email address, and Collects will send you a $10 coupon to use in their marketplace. You can buy whatever you want, any card you want, multiple cards up to $10. With the $10 coupon, it's a pretty cool deal. So if you want to get $10 from Collect, all you have to do is just sign up for Collects. It is free, and then send us your Collects name and your email address, and Collects will take care of the rest. And you're going to send it to
TTMcast at yahoo.com.
Very good. We also have, we're going to give away 7 or 8 packs of On It Athlete college cards. They're 14 card packs. There's some autograph potential in there. So they sent me out a bunch of packs last week, and we're going to give those away on Saturday. So you still have time to enter. I probably have about 15 or 20 guys entering. So it's really, I bet it's 1 in 2, 1 in 3 chance that you're going to win. Right, we got a lot of packs. So if you want to win a pack of cards from On It Athlete, go to onitathlete.com to check them out, and we're going to give those away on Saturday. We'll pick the winners Friday night, and we'll give those away on Saturday. All right, Drew?
Cool.
All right. I went to the Red Sox and Astros yesterday, and the Astros are a much better team. The Red Sox are not making the playoffs. They are a flawed team. Their bullpen is horrible. Their pitching is horrible. It is just not. They're not a good team. They're a fun team to watch, and I do like them. I like them as a team because they are resilient. But it's just you draw the line in the sand, and the Astros are one of those teams that are a lot better than they are.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the Astros have been for a few years now. Like it or not, basically. I mean, despite the cheating scandal from a few years ago, they're still on top despite that. So
yeah, we had the Dodgers this weekend, and they're a much better team as well. And it's just there's not, even if they do somehow sneak into the playoffs, and I think that they're 4 games out now. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is, it was nice. It was a nice night at the park. It was a little drizzly. It was kind of there was like a big fog that was settling in at Fenway Park. It was like we were living in the moors in with Heathcliff, and Wuthering Heights. But it was a fun night, and I got to see Bill Lee, the spaceman. Talked to him for a little while. He had his Savannah banana hat on, and he was in rare form. And when I went in there was really no one there, so we talked for a couple minutes. I got a nice picture with him. He signed a ball for me. Of course, he signs it Bill Lee Earth 2023. Typical, right? Yep. He signed a couple pictures. We'll give away a 5x7 picture. Maybe on Saturday, Drew. You're gonna do. I think you have a couple things you want to give away as well, right?
Yeah, I do. Got a couple things here that I can toss in there as well.
So I think on Saturday, you and I will give away. I'll give away a Bill Lee picture, and you give away an autograph, something autographed, and we'll have some more prizes for our listeners. So we really appreciate all our listeners. If you're new to the program, welcome. We do a show every Wednesday and every Saturday. If you've been with us for a while, we thank you. If you are interested, we're always looking for new people to come on the show to be Collector's Corner. So we have a Collector's Corner segment on Saturday. So if you want to be on, we'd love to talk to you, and you send it to us at
TTMcast@yahoo.com.
There you go. And if you haven't figured it out, Drew gets a quarter every time he sends the email address. So he tries to plug it as much as he can. All right, Drew, I'm going to slow down. Slow down. I feel like I'm running a million miles a minute here today. Yep. How was your start of the week?
It has been very quiet, very slow. Nothing really in the mail. I mean, some stuff for, going out and graphing. So I got 3 games that I'm going to be doing this weekend. Got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday out in Frisco. We've got the Corpus Christi Hooks coming to town. That's Houston's AA team. They just brought their number 1 prospect up to AA. So I'm hoping I can run down to the card shop and find a card of him. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I play floorball tonight. That's about the only thing I've got going on right now. I do need to get all my stuff from August photographed and sorted in and cataloged and all. I got this block of cards right here that's all signed. That I got to
Those are all signed?
All that. Yeah, these are all signed. This is what I've gotten all throughout the month of August, pretty much. So I need to, so I need to put all that together and get it all put onto my spreadsheet and get it all photographed, sorted in. I try to do that about once a month, typically. Right at the end of the month, I'm going to start doing that. So, yeah, I got to get caught up on that. Probably do that tomorrow because, fortunately, by tomorrow morning, I'll know, okay, do I have any TTMs coming in? No? Great. I can go ahead and shoot all these. If I have one, okay, fine. We'll wait till after that. But yeah, other than that, I got those 3 ball games ahead, and that really is about all that's on the horizon, all that's taken place this week. So, yeah, hopefully I've got
one important thing, though. You did the back of your business card.
Yes, I did. I created. Thanks. Yeah, I did the 88-89 Topps hockey design. I used the photo myself in my floorball gear for the photo of it there, and got that done kind of late last week. I'm like, you know what? I might as well do the backside there as well. Use that as my business card for whenever the next national I go to is. Print off a bunch of those, take them with me. So I've got all that designed, ready to go. Just got to send it off to be printed at some point, which I'll get to that eventually there. So yeah,
it looks great. All right, bud. So I think we got all our housekeeping in order, right?
Yep.
Batting leadoff.
Batting leadoff. It is Hobby Happening.
Let's get the show started. Leading off, we look at hobby happenings.
Smart collectors turn to Sports Collectors Daily to stay up to date. From new releases to incredible collections hitting the auction block, news from inside the business of sports collectibles, and much more, Sports Collectors Daily has it, all with no subscription cost. SC Daily also delivers a live look at the most watched sports card auctions on eBay for every sport. Sign up to get the headlines in your email for free, or just visit the website whenever you like. With 16,000 stories in the archive going back 16 years, there is always plenty to read at sportscollectorsdaily.com.
Kind of a busy week in the hobby so far. A lot of new releases. I don't know if you saw this. Brian Gray has resigned from Leaf. He's been president there for 30 years, right?
Yeah, that's a surprise. I mean, he's been at Leaf for like probably about 10 or 15, but he's been in the card industry and hobby for 30 plus. I mean, he was at Pro Set back in the early 90s.
Yep.
And he's the guy that resurrected the Parkhurst brand that used to be, back around in the 50s and 60s, disappeared for a while. He's the one who was able to bring that back and secure the rights to it. Did so much with hockey with the In the Game brand and all of its different products. He did that Enforcers product back around like 2010 to 2013, somewhere in that area that I absolutely loved. So yeah, true hobby innovator, and good on him for, being able to retire and all that. And hopefully he doesn't go too far from the hobby.
Yeah, well, Kevin O'Neill, who was former director of hobby sales at Topps, is taking over. So maybe we'll get Kevin on the show. We'll see. We'll see what. We'll let the dust clear, so to speak, right? And then we'll see if we can get
Right.
Kevin on the show. So congratulations to Brian and congratulations to Kevin. We got some auction news to report.
Yeah, we do. We mentioned a couple weeks ago, original photographs have been really taking off lately, and we've got another one, Michael Jordan first game photo, $175,000. Golden Auctions sold that one they were able to broker a private sale on that one as opposed to an auction, but big money in some of these photos there. So if you've got some old photos, check them out. See if you got something from a historical moment. You never know.
Yep. And how'd you like to have this one, right? Roberto Clemente, 1964 batting champion silver bat award. Went for $300,000 in SCP auction. You know what's neat is you forget that all these awards are just out there, right? You don't know what happened to them. Like Bill Russell, I know auctioned some of his stuff off, and I know Brooks Robinson auctioned some of his stuff off. But you got these. They issued all these awards for the last 100 years, right? Over 100 years, and they got to be out there. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's once someone dies, what happens to it? Does their family take it over? Do they donate it to a museum? There might be something just sitting in a closet somewhere. You never know that some family member might eventually go selling off someday. So yeah, I mean, they're out there and they're obviously bringing in big money. And Roberto Clemente is a guy that I've always thought deserves a lot more attention than he gets. So it's good to see some recognition there.
Hey, Drew, this is we love to see free tools, and this is something that I'm perplexed by in terms of determining centering, right? The centering of your card before you send it off to get graded. Well, there's a new online centering calculator. It's edgegrading.com/centering. So you can check that out, edgegrading.com/centering. It's a new free online centering calculator. I haven't had a chance to check it out. I did jump on the website yesterday just to make sure that the link worked, and it does. So it's kind of cool that there's another tool out there, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, centering is one of those things that it's tough to get right if you're not sitting there with a ruler or something like that. So I'm guessing, I mean, based on what it sounds like, maybe you take a picture of the card and it'll kind of calculate it out for you. And that, I think it makes it a lot easier because, I mean, it's just so tough sometimes. Like, okay, well, where am I supposed to measure at to get the most accurate reading? Where am I supposed to, how do I make sure that this is really good both side to side and top to bottom? And well, there you go. It sounds like we've got a really good one here.
I'm so cockeyed, so this will help me a lot.
Yeah,
Very happy about that. Well, we have some grading numbers from our friends at GemRate.
Yeah, we're into the third week, I believe, here of August, or I guess the final full week of the month here is how I'll best put it there. But the 21st through the 27th, we've got a PSA coming in. All four companies, by the way, that we look at here are up this week. So really cool to see that.
Right,
PSA,
2 weeks in a row, right, Drew? 2 weeks in a row.
Yes, exactly. PSA, a 26% increase, 329,300 cards that they have graded over that week. SGC seeing a 10% increase, 28,000 cards. Beckett is up 13% at 19,800. And the big winner, 36% increase here for CGC, moving to the number 2 slot in terms of number of cards graded as a whole here during the week. 34,600 cards for CGC. So nice to see out of them.
Yeah, I think they're kind of settling in where I thought they'd be. I think they had a bad like 2 months, right? They had a kind of a tough 2 months in terms of grading numbers, but it's nice to see them settling in right around. I kind of think where they should be, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a good number. It's about a tenth of what PSA is doing there. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned tough couple months. I mean, that's going to happen when you have a company that's in transition like they were there, since, I mean, they announced their name change and kind of merging everything before the national. Stuff's going to, have to go on the back burner for a little bit to get all that done. And then once you get that rolling, look out. Here we are with the 34,000 card grading week.
Yep, good for them. Hey, guys, we have some new releases, a lot of new releases this week. Drew, why don't you kick it off?
How about a little Topps Cosmic Chrome Baseball? I think this is the one that's got kind of some
I shake my head at this one. Like,
yeah,
why is this even out there? I guess
I mean,
the kids, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I get it for like the holiday set that Topps does every year in the holiday products, but Cosmic Chrome is just like, okay, I guess, sure, somebody out there's got to like it apparently, because this is not.
Yeah, I'm not buying a pack of Cosmic Chrome. Sorry.
Yeah, this isn't the first time they've done it, but 2023 Topps Cosmic Chrome Baseball is out. In a box, you're going to see 4 cards per pack, 20 packs per box. That's 80 cards total. Has a 200 card base set. A box is going to run you $399.
Yeah, Drew and I will not be buying those.
Yeah, I'm holding off on that, I think. Yeah.
Now this is one. I wish this was a little less pricey, but a 2022 Panini encased football. You get a 5-card pack. You get 1 encased autograph plus 2 memorabilia plus 1 parallel. They're going for $600 now. Hopefully, Panini has corrections right in their pricing, so as demand and supply kind of level off, and if that was $150 or $200, that might be something you want to jump at, right? Because it's kind of a lottery ticket, but $600 is a lot for an encased autograph card.
Yeah, it's a fun product and everything, but yeah, it's get it on a break for it, possibly. That might be the best way to go.
Yeah.
How about some soccer? Let's look into some Topps 2022-23 UEFA Stadium Club Chrome has come out. You'll see 10 packs per box, 5 cards per pack, $40 price tag on that. Not a bad price there at all, and includes 4 exclusive blue prism refractors in those. So $40, not bad there.
All right, I'm going to brutalize this one. All right, I'm going to kill it. Topps Chrome 2022-23 Bundesliga.
Bundesliga,
right?
Yeah.
Bundesliga, which is German soccer. There's 1 auto per box. They're going for about $80 for a hobby box. They are getting released this week. I know it's on TV. You can follow these guys, this league on TV. I flip by it every once in a while. I haven't really gravitated towards it. Like when I see the Australian rules football, I sit there and watch the game. But I haven't.
Yes.
They have Bundesliga hasn't caught my passion yet, but.
Yeah, I really don't watch. I mean, when it comes to soccer, I definitely seem to watch the Brits most often, or the English Premier League most. Any World Cup match I will watch. I mean, it doesn't matter what the countries are, men's, women's. I don't care. I will watch it if it's on.
Me too.
Yeah. And Bundesliga, das ist gut. But I haven't gotten into it that much. Although I will say I did just buy to wear during floorball a Bayern Munich goalie shirt.
Nice.
So that's a Bundesliga team right there. But we had a chance to buy some jerseys on like half price. So it's like, all right, what goalie shirts do you have? You got that one? Okay, cool. Let's go with that one. So hopefully I'll have that soon for floorball at least.
All right. Well, this new release is right dear to your heart, right, Drew?
Absolutely. This is a product that I did a lot of the work on. It's the 2023 Panini Prism College Football. You're going to see 10 packs per box, 4 cards per pack, 4 autos per box as well. So a nice number right there. We don't have a price tag on that yet, but keep an eye on PaniniAmerica.net, and we'll let you know as soon as we have a price tag there as well.
They usually go for a couple $100, right?
Yeah, something like that. And I know it's because Prism went through a gigantic price boom there for a while. Then it's kind of dropped back a bit, especially on the college stuff. So if I had to guess, yeah, maybe about $200 to $300.
Yeah, that's why I would think so too. We also have 2023 Donruss Elite Football out. So there are a bunch of Panini football that is getting released, and they're selling it on their site. So they're selling it. I'm not sure what we're doing with all the retailers. I know I saw that Walmart and Target were not going to sell their cards, but I don't know if that ever happened. So we're going to talk to Rich Miller next week. He'll be on the show next Tuesday, so we'll talk next Wednesday. So we're going to talk to him about all that's going on. But the 2023 Donruss Elite Football, you get 20 packs, 5 cards per pack, 2 autos, 1 memorabilia, and those are going for about $275. That's Donruss 2023 Elite Football.
Jeff and I have always mentioned how much we like the Panini Mosaic stuff, and we've got.
I love the Mosaic. That's
it's really fun.
It's really my favorite, Drew. All the Panini, I like the Mosaic the best.
Yeah. Well, we've got the basketball set for Mosaic coming out here for 2022-23. In there, you're going to see 15 cards per pack, 10 packs per box. So 150 cards out of a box right there. Out of those, you're going to see 1 autograph, 20 prisms, and 20 inserts. So a nice block of color going on in there with all those prisms in there. So $350 will be the price on a box there.
Yeah, Panini does a really nice job on the Mosaic in terms of collation, in terms of special cards and different colors in there, and there always seems to be an autograph. I always seem to get an autograph when I buy a Mosaic, and maybe that now that retail has kind of shifted a little in terms of being available, we'll have some Mosaic available on the shelves, because anytime I see a Mosaic on the shelf, I scoop it up.
Yeah.
Last year I went Bailey Zappi hunting, and this year doesn't do me any good. All the money I spent on freaking Bailey Zappi cards, Drew.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. Can I go off on a tangent?
Go for it. Go right ahead.
Allowed? Is it allowed? First of all, we're gonna have a new segment for Drew. I think we should do Drew Saturday. I think should be your first installment of it. So that's your homework. But I don't know what the Patriots are doing. I have no idea what they're doing. I was watching a local show last night, and they were talking about there's only 5 players left from the 2022 draft on the Patriots roster right now. Isn't that unbelievable? 1 year, and they only have 5 guys left.
And they had to have had at least 7 picks out of that, probably more than that once you
more
figure
than
in
that.
trades and such.
Belichick, he loads up on 6th and 7th round picks, but I don't know. Wow. And then this year they drafted a kicker in the 4th round. When you look what the Dallas Cowboys just traded a 4th round pick for Trey Lance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? What the Patriots do? They use their 4th round pick for a kicker. Unbelievable. I don't know what they're doing. I think we're gonna have a long year for the Patriots, and I don't know if what are you looking for your Browns? Are the Browns gonna have a good season?
I think they're going to be pretty decent. I will say, I do want to go on what you were saying about the draft picks there. It is just so weird to me how some of these draft picks work out, because I mean, the Browns acquired wide receiver Amari Cooper a couple years ago in exchange for a 5th round pick. They traded quarterback Josh Dobbs out to Arizona for a 5th round pick. How do you make equivalent Josh Dobbs and Amari Cooper? You've got a 2nd string quarterback who might actually end up starting out in Arizona there, but a guy who's typically a 2nd to 3rd string quarterback. How is that equal to a top flight wide receiver? I will never understand how teams make some of these trades like that. But
yeah, I mean, the Patriots traded their 6th round pick, which they value these things like gold, to the Minnesota Vikings for a guy that's never played in the NFL, who's a backup offensive lineman that wasn't making the Vikings team. It must be me, Drew. I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, Browns also just cut their kicker as well, who they drafted in the 4th round last year. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think the Browns are going to look all right. I mean, looking through their schedule, when I was doing my Facebook Browns 5 things, which I'm bringing back again this year.
Oh, now, good.
But I used to do this thing every week where after the Browns game, I'd go on this rant of 5 things that stuck out to me in the game, whether it's good, bad, or in between. But yeah, I mean, I had them pegged at going 9-8.
Okay.
And I think they're going to get off to a very hot start and completely just crap out once November, December hit. It's the most Brownsiest way of doing a season basically ever. And I could absolutely see them doing that. I mean, this feels like 2014 did to me, when they started out like 7-2 and then they finished 8-8 or something like that, or they started like 6-2 and finished 6-10, something like that. It was whatever they did that year. It's going to be, I think, similar to that, unfortunately. And I think it's going to look really great for a while. I think Watson is going to show that, yes, he still has it, but everything else I just feel like is going to end up falling apart once November gets here for some reason. It's just the feeling I get, and I hope
I got Nick Chubb on my fantasy team, so I'm rooting for Nick.
Chubb is always going to be solid. I mean, that's a guy who you can count on for at least 800 yards, usually over 1,000, and close to double digits in TDs. So I think he's going to have another strong season. I think Watson's going to look good. I don't know. I just feel like something bad is going to happen after Halloween. I don't know.
I know what's going on with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor last year was the first pick in the fantasy draft by everyone. He was the best running back. He's had 3 or 4 great years back to back. And all of a sudden he's like, I'm taking my ball and going home. I don't want to play anymore, right?
Yeah, this is really weird. I mean, and it's not the first time that's happened. I mean, you look at a guy like Barry Sanders, who's, better to burn out than to fade away. And he's like, all right, I won the MVP, peace out, we'll see you, and retires. So I don't know, it just seems to be a thing among elite running backs there where they just retire at the top of their game. It's like, more meat on the bone there, man. Come on. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we'll see Taylor back.
I know, just back to collectibles. How do you invest in running backs? These guys are one year they're the best thing since sliced bread, and the next year they can't even make a team. I don't understand it. It's very frustrating.
The simple answer is you don't. I mean, you look at if you pick up a copy of just the Beckett price guide there and see who's selling for a lot and who's not. Their quarterbacks are always the highest ones, and the running backs, you can have the best running back in the league, and their rookie cards are going to be, easily affordable to the level of like a second or third tier quarterback kind of. It's like, it's just,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, you look
bizarre. It's
at
not an
Mac,
investment at all, for sure.
Mac Jones and Trey Lance and all these guys that 2 years ago were supposed to be, everyone was investing in these guys left and right during the pandemic, and now they can't even make a team. What is the feeling down in Dallas with Trey Lance? Do they have a care in the world that he's on the team?
Yeah, so far I haven't really heard anything from anybody about him. It's a case of where it's like, okay, well, great, we've got a highly touted guy who can be the backup to Dak, but everybody is all in on Dak Prescott here. So Lance has barely been a blip on the radar.
Is Dak ready? This is between you and I. Is Dak an a-hole?
I've never met him. I really don't know. I've heard good things about him. I've heard bad things about him. But
He comes across as just like, I don't know. He rubs me the wrong way, but I like him. I like his talent. I think he's very talented, but I wish he would just shut up. Don't know.
He was a guy that I was wishing the Browns had taken when they had the chance to. I mean, this is a guy who went in the 4th or 5th round or so. And going into the draft, I'm like, that is going to be an intriguing prospect out of the middle rounds there if you can get a hold of him. And I'm thinking, Browns would be nice. Guys, listen to me, please. And they didn't listen to me. And what's happened? He's a starter in Dallas and led them to a couple playoffs.
Again, Drew, there's a 4th round pick, Dak Prescott, right?
Yeah.
And the Patriots using their 4th round pick on a kicker, freaking kicker.
Yep.
And how much better is he than Nick Folk, who they traded?
Yeah.
Right?
Kickers, unfortunately, like it or not, kickers are a dime a dozen. And I think the Browns are finding that out the hard way, because now in the last 5 years, they have used a draft pick on the top kicker in college, and he has completely fallen apart in the NFL. So
it's weird. It's kind of like it's almost like a golfer, right? They get to a point where their swing gets all screwed up, and you get in their head, and you don't know if these kids have it, even if they've been kicking for Alabama or LSU. They get in the pros, and then they turn to pudding. They're Jello out there when they really have to hit a kick. But all right, we wrapped up all the new releases, Drew. Let's talk. We got a couple shows coming up.
Yes.
The Philly show's coming up September 22nd to the 24th. Go to phillyshow.com. It's a great show. Cal Ripken, Scott Rowland, Dr. J, Alan Iverson, Pete Rose, Billy Wagner, Jim Tomei, our friend Wally Jones is going to be there from NBA fame. So I wish I could go. It's the Philly show, September 22nd to the 24th. Go to phillyshow.com to learn about that. If you guys, you know what, we'd love to hear from you guys if you're going to shows, if you're going to visit any of these shows, because we'd love to have people that can report on our behalf. You know what I mean? If you go into any of these big shows, let us know, because we'd love to. We'll hire you for the day for giving a review of the show, because Drew and I can't travel to all these shows, and it really bothers me that we can't go to, like go up to Toronto. You and I would like to go up to Toronto, that show, the Philly show, the Chantilly show. I always wanted to go to. There's a lot of shows that you just miss. The East Coast National, we just, you just can't do it. There's only so many things you can go. But so if you're going to any of these shows, let us know. And speaking of shows,
got the Naples show. Of course, we've been talking about that heavily here for ever since it was announced. We've mentioned it, last year. It's usually it's a basketball show, has a lot of big name basketball players in it. Well, this year they decided, hey, let's try out a football one. And so March 25th, Naples, Florida. Thurman Thomas, Rocky Bleier, and Lawrence Taylor are all going to be there. Naples All-Star Events is the name of the company that runs it. NaplesAllStarEvents.com to find out more.
All right, Drew. What would you have these guys sign? Because I don't know. I'm going back. I have LT's rookie card signed. I already have Thurman Thomas's rookie card signed. I can get Rocky Bleier's card for a couple bucks. But would you have him sign a helmet? Would you have him sign a jersey? What would you have these guys sign?
Mini helmets are pretty nice. I think Lawrence Taylor would look real nice on a mini helmet for sure. Get that, the old Giants one with the big Giants text on the side there. That would look really good, I think, for his. Thurman Thomas, I'm going total homer pick here because I need him on my 91 Pro Set art card still. So that would be my pick right there. But mini helmet would look great there too. I mean, the classic Bills red helmet there.
You like the jerseys or no?
I am not big on jerseys, but mostly because, they take up space. There's no easy, good way to display them.
Display them, it's hard.
But, if you have something that looks really cool, you get the typical Lawrence Taylor blue jersey with the white numbers, that's going to look great signed right across the 5 or across the 6 on there. Make sure you do it in black Sharpie if you do that, though. I have heard always do a jersey in black Sharpie because for some reason blue bleeds like crazy on jersey numbers, but black, not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those three guys, I mean, jerseys would be solid on them as well if you got the ability to display them and store them and everything. But yeah, I mean, personally, I tend to go for, more photos and such, but photos, mini helmets, cards, anything like that.
Yeah, I might look to see if there's any Sports Illustrated.
There you go.
The Sports Illustrated look great for sign. All right, but thank you. That's the NaplesAllStarEvents.com show on the March 25th. Guys, we have a really informative interview coming up with Ryan Friedman. Ryan Friedman is the founder of AuctionReport.com. We've had him on the show a couple times. I spoke to Ryan right after the National, and we just I bumped into him at the National, and we talked, and I said, Ryan came back to me the following week and said, "Hey, I'd love to be on your show. We haven't spoken in a little while. Come on, and we come on anytime, Ryan. I love talking to you." So I spoke to Ryan about the reviewing the National. We talked a little about what's going on with the high prices realized in all these auctions, and talked about some auction companies and basically what's going on in the space. So please enjoy my interview with Ryan Friedman, founder of AuctionReport.com.
The Certified Collectibles Group is playing to win. CGC Trading Cards and CSG are combining into CGC Cards, solidifying its position as one of the world's largest and most prominent card grading services. With the merger, collectors get a number of upgrades, including the option to submit without a paid membership, a Gem Mint 10 grading scale, a sleek new label, a simplified submission process, and prices you are going to love. Grade all your cards with CGC Cards and visit cgccards.com today. This week's interview is brought to you by Certified Sports Guarantee, csgcards.com for superior sports card certification and grading.
This segment is sponsored by Collects, the free app for scanning and cataloging your cards. Buy or sell cards on the marketplace. Turn the hobby into your side hustle today. All right, guys, we have a very special guest today. I'd like to welcome back to the show Ryan Friedman. I don't think you've been on for about a year, maybe. Ryan is from Auction Report. If you haven't heard of Auction Report is a great website, auctionreport.com. He started the website in 2005, and they cover over 50 auction companies, what's going on in the auction world. He has a great newsletter, fantastic newsletter that goes out a couple times a week, and thousands of people are receiving it. So if you go on the site, auctionreport.com, you can sign up for the free newsletter. And we're going to talk to Ryan about kind of the national, what's happening in the auction world, and just kind of touch base, because we cover the auction world on a weekly basis, but not as well as Ryan, not even close as well as Ryan. So welcome to the program, Ryan.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
And guys, make sure you follow Ryan on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's auctionreport.com. He has great social media stuff, so I just want to make sure that you don't miss out. Ryan, we just finished up the National in Chicago, and oh my goodness, just from a collector's standpoint and someone that's in the industry and in the hobby, it was I don't know, unbelievable. You know what I mean? The sheer size and breadth, and I know you and I have been going to nationals for a while, and I just remember when it was just guys selling cards, and now you have companies from every type of hobby, that touch the hobby, and there's all sorts of breaking, and it's just unbelievable how big the national has grown.
It is absolutely amazing. Again, thanks for having me on. I've been going to every national. Either I've attended since 1994. And I've been a dealer, booth holder. This was my 23rd or 24th national as a booth holder, and I must say this may have been the best national that I've ever been to, both as just being there and as as a dealer booth holder as well. It was unbelievable, like you said. I mean, you just take the quick peek back, and the sheer size of the show, the traffic in the show, the amount of material in the show, every possible corner of our industry was represented, whether it's the auction houses, card dealers, game-worn jerseys, original photographs, wax. I mean, you name it, everything was there. And it was just amazing just to see just how the growth it continues to go, when you attend the National.
Well, you know what? Last year, Heritage Auctions owned the National, right? They had that great Mickey Mantle card. It was the buzz and talk of the show. This year, I think they all tried to one up themselves, right? All the auction companies were like, okay, Heritage set the bar so high last year. What are we going to do to better ourselves? And they all kind of came through. You know, all the big auction companies were there, and they were showing really high end stuff, and even like Pristine Auctions, who was tied with Signatures to Soldiers, and they had auctions going on all during the show. Were auction stuff that was kind of in reach of everybody.
There was, in fact, we had, I think, of the companies that we cover on Auction Report, I think almost 25 of them, about half, had a presence at the National in some way, shape, or form. You know, whether it's, you know, most of them had, you know, they had the booths there. A few of them actually just attended, walked around, had meetings, you know, with potential consigners and stuff. But you're right. I mean, last year, obviously, anytime you have a T206 Wagner or a PSA 9 or 8.5, 8 tops Mantle rookie
I
card.
know how many people took a picture with that card, right?
It's amazing, the lines. I mean, I remember it was last year was Heritage card. I think the year before that, if I remember correctly, is Robert Edward Auctions that had that T206 card, and there's just line after line after line of people, you know, trying to see the card. And that's what's amazing about the National in itself. I mean, these auction houses, I've repeated myself over and over again. I believe the auction houses, the auction industry is the heart of our entire industry. And you can't beat what these auction houses bring to the table when it comes to being able to see amazing pieces of collectibles. Again, whether it's the game worn or cards or memorabilia in general. I mean, they all did, whether it was Leland's or Huggins or REA or Heritage. I mean, you can go on and on. They all had just golden, you know, their displays this year at the National were, again, I think they might have been the best there's ever been.
Yeah, I agree. And we have Cleveland next year, and they seem to try to outdo each other each year going forward. So what do we have to look for Cleveland? Have you heard any rumblings or any rumors for Cleveland that we have coming up for next year?
Well, I think that I think, you know, talking to the auction houses specifically, we'll just kind of keep with them. I mean, I think that they've, you know, seen the growth over the last few years. They all want to have a nice, good presence at the National. I think everyone's booth locations, whether they're in the regular table areas or they're in the corporate pavilions, they kind of understand the level that they need to step up to have a good presence for their business. And I think they all are. They're all, if you know, again, if you've been able to attend the Nationals going back the last few years and even further, you've seen how the presence of these auction houses has really expanded in what they're offering on site for their clientele that are coming to the National, or people that they're, you know, that are looking for auction houses to potentially consign. Whether, you know, I think that they all have, you know, kind of gotten down their ability to take in the consignments. You know, should you be a person that wants to consign to one of the auction houses during the National time period, they allow their existing clientele to make appointments ahead of time, which is really nice feature. Because sometimes people, you know, it's so funny times. The one thing that has never changed, people always kind of hesitant sometimes to send something through the mail.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously the National brings a lot of people in person that usually don't have those opportunities to meet the auction companies. So sometimes, you know, existing clientele love that opportunity to come out, see the auction houses they want to deal with, meet them face to face, bring their material with them. And, you know, the auction companies have made it nice and easy to do that consignment transaction, you know, right there at the National. You know, they take the material. And I think the other thing that's really changed over the last few years is, you know, a lot of these auction houses also have special deals with the grading card companies or the authentication companies for signatures. So, you know, consigners, again, don't have to necessarily wait in the lines just to get their stuff authenticated before they consign. They can actually go to the auction houses, and as part of the process, they have the ability not just to consign, but the auction house will take care of everything for them. They'll take care of the authenticity. They'll take care of the grading. And, you know, the fees and how they handle the fees, usually I tell people it's usually out of the back end, which again, it's another bonus. You don't have to be out of pocket any type of expense. And I think that's just the one great benefit of the National. You have this opportunity to really have a wide variety of auction houses that you can deal with. You kind of shop around, get to know them, understand the whole process. So that's, I'm really happy to see that the auction houses have grown with the National and the ever-growing expansion of our industry.
You know, I think I saw a social media post the other day that PSA took in like 12 1952 mantles that they graded at the National. Was there anything that came through the auction houses that was kind of interesting or different that you might have heard, you know, people submitting at the National?
You know, I did honestly. It was my time is crazy this year. Unfortunately, I didn't get a long time to really spend with them because I've learned as well is that, these guys just don't have like the half hour to sit down and talk with you
The
during the
half
national.
hour, they don't have 5 minutes.
They don't have 5 minutes. I literally took like the first day during setup and was able to say hello and have like 2 or 3 minutes with each of the auction houses that are on the auction report. Obviously, I'd like to say hello to them. It's my one opportunity usually a year to see face to face those that are there. So unfortunately, I don't get as much time to really sit down and talk with them. Again, it was busy from dealer setup till the Sunday. It just never stopped. But what I did hear, I thought was kind of interesting was, again, from their perspective, there's two things the auction houses really concentrate on during the national. It's either A, promoting an existing auction that is, in progress or about to be in progress, give people the opportunity to touch, feel, see the items that are on display. As you mentioned, there were just amazing items at these booths this year. And the second thing is obviously taking in consignments, which, is another key part of their business. The interesting thing was the feedback I get was consignments in general were average to above average for this convention. And most of it was pre-set up. There's not a lot of people. I mean, I didn't say not a lot, but it's not as if thousands or tens of thousands of people are coming to the national wanting to consign and having no idea, who to consign with or what auction houses to talk to. There is a percentage of that. And actually a bunch of people came up to the auction report booth, asking us for like, hey, I have something I want to consign. And we, walk them through the process, ask them if they've, researched any of the companies, if they'd like us to help them introduce them to anybody that they, wish to. We remain neutral in that process. So we're always asking them, have you reached out to anybody? Because that's, we steer them towards they like, and if they're not sure, we give them the whole list of who's here and tell us where you'd like to go. So I thought it was kind of interesting that, again, consignments had a range I thought was at least average to above average. It wasn't bad. But some of these companies that do set up at other conventions throughout the year, throughout the United States, some said it was similar to some other conventions as well. But again, consignments is a little bit tricky to weigh. How is it a great convention? Is it not a great convention? It kind of depends on each, some of the auction houses, their focus could strictly be the current auction that's going on. That's what they wanted to do. Whereas a consignment deadline for certain auction houses, they time it so the consignment deadline is literally the Monday after the national. So like that's all they're geared towards, get consignments. And those companies obviously did a great job.
Well, we have a new TV show, right? That is focused on an auction company. We're talking about Ken Golden and his show. First, have you had a chance to see the show? And second, do you think it's good for the hobby and the auction space to have a focus on one company and create a celebrity? Because Ken Golden is now known not just in our hobby, but across the sports world, I guess, and the collecting world, right?
Absolutely. Yes, I answer your question. Yes, I saw the first series. I know they're coming out with the second one. I think it's fantastic. I think any auction house that were to be covered and do a documentary on, I think is great for the hobby. As they say, any news is good news, good or bad sometimes. It sheds light on the auction business as a whole. It shows people some of the processes, that go in, the behind the scenes kind of look to it. So yeah, I definitely think it's a great thing. It's they can't do a documentary on every single auction house. That's just that's unfortunately they can't. They have to choose somebody. Ken Golden definitely has the flair for the TV or the dramatics, let's just say. So yeah, I think it's good. I don't people will in today's world, people nitpick about everything. You can't please everybody. But I think overall, I would say that it's great to have national exposure on the auction industry and our hobby in general. You can't beat it.
I agree. Well, speaking with Ryan Friedman, Ryan Friedman is owner and creator of Auction Report, auctionreport.com. And what they do is they focus on basically the auction industry and the auction part of our hobby. They cover over 50 companies, as well as they have a great free newsletter that comes out a couple times a week. Make sure you sign up for it. I've been getting it for 4 or 5 years now, and I just love it. So make sure you sign up for it. We're talking to Ryan about the auction. What's been going on in the auction? We just talked about the Ken Golden show, and we also talked about the national. But now we're going to ask him about kind of what's been hot lately. And really in the auction results, in the auction world, we've seen a lot of game used uniforms and gloves and that kind of stuff. And pictures have started realizing huge results. Does that surprise you at all? And it kind of seems to go in cycles, right, of what's hot in the auction, in the hobby?
I think I'm not surprised. Obviously I've been in this business a long time. I'm more of a memorabilia original photo person myself, so obviously
Yep.
I follow that a little bit more specifically than I do the sports cards or graded cards in general. I mean, cards still drive the hobby. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's probably always will be. But as they say, sometimes it's the things that people aren't following that tend to surprise people. All of a sudden with great prices. Yeah, original photos specifically. I've just full disclosure, I've been a personal collector for over 12 years of original photos, so I'm extremely happy to see this market
Yeah,
getting
how
to.
about that the Michael Jordan, the first game, that photo went for what point something million, right?
Oh, the original photo, it
Oh,
was like
100,
yeah, it was like $140,000. I wish it went
140,000,
for 1.2 million. That'd be even better. I mean, again, and I'm a collector. I've been collecting Jordan original photos myself for over 12 years. I think it's one of the most underappreciated markets that we have in our industry. And again, not just basketball original photos, but pretty much all original photos in general. I mean, I think it's a market that it's kind of like an old school market that people are realizing it's that cross between, because it's a cross between, I always say, between collecting baseball cards and memorabilia, because it's like it's a bigger baseball card and a squished piece of memorabilia.
yeah, and almost like a ticket stub, right? It kind of has the
Exactly,
same.
almost like a ticket stub, but even better, I think, than a ticket stub is that each photo is really a one of a kind item. And I know people say, how can that be? You can shoot the camera and you see similar shots. Similar is still one of a kind. Each shot is technically, if you go old school or even on your digital camera, each click is its own shot. I think that's what kind of drives, has been driving some of the value increases. I think that people are realizing that it's also kind of like a piece of art. You can show someone the same original photo, 12 different people, the same original photo, and you'll get 12 different opinions. You'll get, what people like. Some people like the action shots. Some people like close-ups. Some people like portrait shots. Some people collect, photos that were specifically used in the newspaper as opposed to ones that weren't. Some people like, the difference is on the back of the photos, whether the captions or stampings that they have. And with PSA, authenticating them now and encapsulating photos has just added to the, to the value of the pieces and to the overall excitement behind the prices you're seeing. So I'm very excited to see that the auction houses have been dealing in original photos, primarily baseball, for like decades. I mean, baseball original photos have always been there. You see them come up in auctions. Usually see the headlines of a Babe Ruth.
Right, a colon photo, or
Yes, exactly. There's different well-known names out there, but now you're seeing the other sports and non-sport photos really start to take off. And of course, anything with Michael Jordan's name, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that those values are increasing.
can you school us as collectors if we're out at a flea market or at a show? What should we look for? How do we know if it's an original photo as opposed to just a copy of a copy of a copy? And what should we look for the photo, and what should we consider sending it in to PSA to get authenticated?
Well, I would say first off, go to PSA's website and look at their photo authentication pages, because they do give you a nice description of how they classify photographs, so that if you are out and about at a flea market or a card show or wherever, and you do come across some what you think are original photos, you can get a good explanation of kind of how PSA views them. There are some gray areas. Again, there's, type 1 is 10. The quick review is kind of, and again, don't quote me exactly on this, but type 1 is by PSA is considered a photo printed directly from the negative, I believe within a 2-year period of time.
Okay.
A type 2 is a photo taken from the negative almost like 5 years plus or something like that. A type 3 is like a photo taken from a duplicate negative, and it goes on and on and on. So I tell people, really do there are websites that you can go to PSA and kind of give a more detailed explanation, because there's things like stamps you can look for. And sometimes I'm still learning. Like, I'm not the overall expert that can just say, I look at this photo and go, I know it's a type 1 or type 2. There are many times that I've looked at photos and I'm not sure. And it comes down to sometimes you just have to take the chance. Because when you walk around the National, for example, you go from one booth and you go, oh, am I going to buy this piece? And you go, I'll come back 5 minutes later, especially at this show. The
It's
piece
gone.
is gone. In fact, that happened at our booth amongst a few collectors that came by that wanted to buy some original photos that we had on display. And they came back the next day and the piece was gone. I didn't, that was amazing to see. So when it comes to buying, being a collector of original photos, to answer the question, is really go to the website like PSA, look at their descriptions, familiarize yourself. Honestly, go to the auction companies. look at past results of original photos that have sold, and look at the stampings, look at how the appearance of them. So that's a great way to learn and get comparisons, almost like print your samples out. It sounds kind of old school, but if you get your own little examples of, what a stamping of a certain photo looks like, you can use that as a reference when you have photos that aren't authenticated already. I think is a good way to, help people get into it. But it's exciting. Like I said, I love the fact that original photos, there's no price guide. Everything's one of one. There's a company that's, that will authenticate them for you and encapsulate them for you as long as they fit in the holder. I love that part about it. And again, I love the fact that a bunch of different people can look at the same photo and render totally different opinions about it and have totally different assumptions of what the value of it should be. So
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of profit to be had, and I'm not a profit guy, so to speak, but because people don't know what they have a lot of times, right? And especially if you go into, I'm a flea market guy and go to antique stores, and I know I always see photos, but they're out. There's no reason, as you said, there's no price guide, so you can get these photos for $1, $2, $5, and it might be worth a lot of money. You don't know, and I think what you said is take the chance, right? If there's a photo that speaks to you, buy it.
sometimes, yeah. I mean, again, I think it applies almost to anything because again, game worn jerseys could fall into that market. I mean, you find people that have jerseys that don't know what they are, but you kind of, you do learn. I mean, it's not like there's 100,000 Michael Jordan game worn jerseys sitting around out there in the flea markets. Again, when it comes to original photos, most of the time you don't find like big, huge, boxes of them somewhere at a flea market because again, these photos came from the newspapers themselves. Most of them got into the public through buying them from the newspapers back in the day,
Right.
or
Well, a lot of the newspapers went out of business, and they just sold off whatever they had, and somebody would come in and buy everything the newspaper had, and then some person, whoever was a flip at a consignment house or whatever, would then go sell all that stuff to different
there
people.
were people that came around and literally purchased the archives of newspapers over the years, and that's where a lot of the stuff came through. So again, I haven't really run into just like too many just surprises of like, oh, here's a guy at a card show that has a box of 1,000 original photos, and most of the time too is like people do know that do have that kind of quantity, or you say someone has like 100 just in a bin, let's just say they're well aware of kind of like they are original photos as well. So it's fun. Like I said, I think it's a great field for people to really take a serious look at.
We had a purchase of a company. Huggins and Scott was purchased by REA, correct, Ryan?
That is correct. Yes.
I don't want to mix that up. We lost Mr. Huggins, who passed away, and they sold the company, which is great to keep the name going. Do you see a lot of consolidation coming in the auction world, kind of like we're seeing in some of the other parts of our hobby?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I was Bill Huggins, dear friend of ours, as of Auction Report, a huge supporter when I started. Will be forever missed. What a nice guy, and a very positive person within our industry. So I think Bill would be extremely happy that his legacy and his company are in the hands of Robert Edward Auctions. REA, Brian Dwyer, who's the CEO of that company, president and CEO of that company. I think it was a wise and smart acquisition for both companies, and I think it's a great fit. I think that they will. Robert Edward Auctions will, people known as REA, they will definitely kind of take Huggins to the next level by incorporating them into their own company. And we can already see
because they've been kind of they've been a small to mid-size auction house,
I would
right?
call it more of a mid-size plus company. I think the label they were small is a little bit not true anymore. They've grown a lot over the years. But they were more.
I guess I'm just comparing them to like a Golden or
were they doing $50 million auctions? No, but they were doing multi-million-dollar auctions still, and they had more of the mom and pop feel to them. And let's put it that way. Whether it was just from the dealings with them directly, the presentations of things. I mean, REA is obviously taking them to the next level of like more behind the scenes. We already saw their auction system was upgraded immediately. I think their marketing, their advertisement, things like that, they'll be able to really enhance. But I do believe the feel of what Huggins and Scott had will continue on. Just the type of material that they can take now that has the clientele that Huggins had. appreciated. I think that'll continue. Yeah, I think, and again, to go back to your question about mergers in the auction world, I do. I think that um, there will be, and maybe are, some opportunities for certain companies to be bought out. I'm not sure exactly, who that may be right off the bat. There are some companies that obviously are some guys getting up in age. I'm sure some companies will be looking for exit strategies within the next 10 years, 15 years. A lot of these auction houses have been smaller companies, run by one or two or, main people. So obviously you'd like to see your legacy, if you want to retire, these people would like to see their name and what they've built over the years continue on. So I wouldn't be shocked if you do see some more consolidation. I don't think there's going to be mass consolidation, but there's definitely going to be some opportunity. I would say my guess is over the next 2 to 5 years, you'll see a small amount of consolidation, and then post 5 years, you might see a little bit more as time goes on. And it's good. I mean, I don't think it's gonna affect any consigners or bidders. I mean, I think if anything, it'll enhance things. It'll continue legacies. I don't think it's going to hurt the industry whatsoever.
Well, I think in terms of I agree. I think in terms of consolidation, it kind of the strong survive, right? So I think in all, sometimes it's good for the hobby and good for portions of the hobby. And I was going to talk to you about technology, because I think technology has really changed the way people conduct auctions, right? And bid on auctions in the last couple of years. And do you see technology making more inroads, and really AI, right? AI is the big buzzword for 2023. Everyone's like, how's AI going to affect me and my what I'm doing? Do you see technology making more inroads and making it easier and easier for people to have auctions, and easier for people to bid on items in auctions?
The quick answer is yes. I mean, and let's not forget, technology is hit us back in the late 90s, the auction industry as a whole. I mean, I've been doing the auctions, I've had my own auction house. I've been involved in the auction business.
I know. I mean, you remember the day when the only time you could do an auction, you had to go to the auction house or wherever they were holding the auction to do a live auction.
Yeah, you did your print magazine, you ran it out there, you took phone bids, everything was on like giant whiteboards. I tell people, and people would call you. You'd have to look at the whiteboard, see what it is, calculate the 10% increase. So remember, technology hit us in the late 90s and early 2000s, and obviously made things a lot easier for the public to be able to not only, everything just becomes more and more efficient. I think that's what technology does. Efficiency, the back end of stuff, really makes things a lot easier, makes things quicker. It allows, both from the, money to turn faster. I mean, that's kind of like the key thing we see in all parts, not just the auction industry. But, we see the fact that people can turn around their consignments faster. Now, because of technology, you have companies that offer their vaulting, their grading. You can take your item out of the vault, put it in an auction whenever you want. So all those things have made the auction business, I think, more appealing to more people. I think that as you mentioned, AI, which is, again, it's in its infancy. It's a buzzword. I think anything related to AI, as far as auctions are concerned, it's more back end stuff that the public probably won't see. There's things that AI can assist in the process of building the auctions up. I believe that some of the auction houses are starting to explore. But I also think technology is allowing new guys, new people, and new companies to get into the auction business. We've had a few new companies join Auction Report, younger individuals in their 20s now, just like some of these older, some of the companies that have been around 20, 25 years, they were in their early 20s when they started their auction houses. And it's nice to see that the technology and the auction systems and stuff that are available to the general public, you can start your own little auction company. I'm a believer that I think over the next, and I've said this for a few years now, and it's starting to happen, I think that niche auctions, people that want to run their own little auctions that are specifically focused on a certain genre, a certain collectible, certain time period, have a space within our industry to be quite successful, and we're starting to see that. So I think that's one of the things that technology has allowed is for more people to start their own auction company.
Were you surprised that Fanatics came in and purchased PWCC? Was that something that was kind of on your radar?
I mean, I was a little surprised, just again, the timing of it, not necessarily surprised. I don't know all the details firsthand. I like most people, I've heard it secondhand. But I think at the end, it's a good, I think it's a good thing that it happened. I think it'll help both companies tremendously. I mean, Fanatics, I believe, bought them not necessarily for their auction business. I think the auction business is the cherry on the cake, so to speak. Excuse me.
You think they
But
bought it for the vault?
I think they bought them for a variety of reasons, more focused on probably whether it was their vault, their clientele base, their marketplace, their relationships that they already had. Fanatics, let's not forget, Fanatics does have their own auctions as well. They've been doing them for a few years. They keep enhancing them, and they're getting deeper and deeper into the auction business. And their models a little bit is kind of quite different than everybody's. Is that Fanatic auctions specifically, like they don't take consignments; they just have the material. So they're focused on, and their clientele reach is in essence is bigger than anybody.
Right. Other than maybe eBay.
They might even be bigger than eBay for all we know. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but when they bought PWCC, obviously now they have not just all the other parts of PWCC, but they obviously have their auction business as well that does take consignment. So it'll be interesting to see how those, how they play out, how they, are they going to continue to be kind of separate types of auctions that they're going to conduct? Are they going to merge them into one? I don't know the answer to that, but I think it was good. I mean, obviously PWCC is a massive presence in our hobby, so I'm obviously happy that they're still around and obviously on good foot moving forward with the purchase of Fanatics or Fanatics purchasing them.
Is there an auction company out there that you feel is poised to go to the next level in 2024? Either they're doing something different, or they're doing something right, or they brought in a new management team, or is there a if it was a song that was going up the charts that was poised for number one, is there an auction company out there that we should be watching out for?
Well, again, I like to be more Switzerland. They're all like my baby, so to speak.
No, I know, but
you don't love one child more than the other.
Ryan, it's just you and I. No one else is listening to this.
No, I think what's amazing is, again, I think, again, I know this is a little repetitive. Our industry over the last 3 years, from COVID, till today, just the massive increase in overall, scale, size, interest, all the auction houses. I don't know of any auction house that hasn't just keeps growing. I think that you're seeing auction houses specifically are actually all trying to find more talent to hire to keep up with the demand that they have, of people calling them and wanting to do business with them. I mean, that's across the board. So you really I can't say I can single out anyone that's like doing something completely different that's changing up the auction world. I tell people this: the auction business is the second oldest business in the history of man. I mean, it goes back to the Roman days and stuff like this. So it's not something that's new. It just keeps getting enhanced and used. It's a sales tool. It's really important that people understand that. I mean, the auction business, the auction model, it's a sales tool. And it seems, in theory, it's the best sales tool there is, because it's like things are, there's always someone that's in essence wants to buy what you just bought for one bid less than you. So it gives comfort to people. It's a public information. People know what it went for. People kind of know the percentages that people are making off of it, from a consignment standpoint. So I don't think anyone out there has specifically, I mean, I'm not trying to avoid your question and name a company. There's just some trends though I do see, like obviously these vaulting services that some of the auction houses are offering as an additional service seems to be a trend that is picking up amongst consigners, right? People do like the fact that they could potentially send stuff into an auction house and it can kind of be authenticated for them. It could sit in their vault, and at the press of a button, you can just say, hey, I want to put I want to put my item X in the weekly auction they offer. I want to put my item X in their premier auction. That seems to be a big growing trend. And I think we'll see more of that moving forward. But overall, everybody's just expanding, and it's great. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but the auction business is the heart and soul of this industry. If the auction business stays positive, grows, the entire industry keeps growing.
Very cool. Ryan Friedman, he is from Auction Report, auctionreport.com. It is a free, guys, free website. You just go on. There is so much auction news. It's like going down the rabbit hole, because you just get on there and you can be on there for hours. There's so much good stuff. Make sure you check it out. He also has a free newsletter. It comes out a couple times a week. You can sign up for the free newsletter. On the site, you can get auction news, you can get consignment news, you get prices, you get appraisals, you get recent successes. If you are considering submitting any of your items to an auction company, you can reach out to Ryan, and he can direct you and give you a couple auction houses that meet your needs of what you're trying to auction, because there are companies that handle, I just saw the Sports Illustrated, right? The guys auction off 2,000 Sports Illustrated, and they're all autographed, and there's only one or two auction companies that can handle that type of auction. So it really, you don't pick an auction company just because of its name. You can Ryan can direct you to which auction company or companies might be the best for you. Follow Ryan Auction Report on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. He is all over the place. If you want to email Ryan, if you have a question, his email is info@auctionreport.com. Info@auctionreport.com. Once again, it is Auction Report, auctionreport.com. Everything Ryan offers is free, and he has been doing it forever. He's been doing it since 2005, and there's not many people in this world, guys, that knows the auction business and the auction industry as well as Ryan does it, because he does it every day since 2005, and it is his life, and he is a collector as well. So I'm going to promote Ryan because he doesn't want to promote himself.
I appreciate the kind. Actually, I want to tell you, Radio, one thing we're most proud of too is if you have consignments, not sure where to go to, you can go on our website and we have a button that says consign sell. You fill out your name, your email, your phone number, you put a little description of what you have. And what we do is we get that email and we simply send it out to the auction houses that we cover. So you don't have to literally call 50 of them. Those that are interested, they'll reach out to you. We don't get anything out of it. It's just a service, a free service that we provide. And it's a win-win for everybody. So that's one of the things too. If you're like, excuse me, if you mention you're not sure what to do, you have items, not sure who to go with, the first step could be just go to our website, check it out, and send us that info, and we'll send it out for you.
Right, and it can be scary. You have a big collection that you've accumulated, and maybe you want to sell it before you pass. Your family doesn't have any interest in it. Well, auctions is one way to unload a majority of your auctions. Now, if you have a bunch of junk wax, you're not going to probably find too many auction houses that want to look at that. But you never quite know. You never know.
And on your point you just said, I want to, another interesting thing is not, when you talk to an auction company, like you said, let's say you inherited some stuff, or you're making, plans, long-term plans of what to do with your collections. You can talk to the auction houses. It's not like, if you're not sure if you want to consign, they might be able to help you as well, just on helping you plan or give you some thoughts about what you can or, should consider doing. And, it doesn't have to be like you're consigning right away, but it's a great start to even just talk to them about, hey, I have this massive collection. What are my options? What can your company do to help me? And I think people got to remember that too. It doesn't have to be just, you have to have something you want to consign today. It could be something you're considering 6 months from now, a year from now, or even, years down the line. They're more than willing to talk with you.
Right. And there's a lot of great guys in the auction. There's Derek Grady at Heritage, JP Cohen at Memory Lane. There's all sorts of great guys that are straight shooters. It's a really fun part of our industry. And it's really, when you see all these big numbers that are in the newspaper and social media, 99% of them are realized from the auction. You know what I mean? So, when you see something that goes for $1.5 million, that's usually from an auction, even like a PWCC or eBay, right? That's where the big money realized right. Sometimes. So
the headlines are from prices realized with the auction house. Like I said, most of the news that comes out is based off auction results. And don't forget too, again, you don't have to have $100,000 pieces, $10,000 pieces. Right. 90% of the items that sell at auction are under $1,000. Let's not forget about that. I mean, these auction houses have thousands of items up for auction all the time at all different values. So no matter what you may have, it doesn't have to be a $100,000 one-of-a-kind piece. It could simply be a $200 card. It could be a $1,000 piece of memorabilia or an autograph. There's plenty of auction houses that deal in every type of item, every type of value, and offer all types of different auctions to put them in.
And what's very cool on Ryan's site, auctionreport.com, they have a section called results, and it just runs down all the recent auctions and the results. And it's really fun to just go look and see how much Sandy Koufax's glove went for, or how much Wilt Chamberlain's 1972 finals jersey went for. It's, Drew and I talk about it every week. It's like, if I had an extra $100,000, I'd be bidding on this stuff too. And we all can't play in that game, so to speak. But as you said, there's auctions out there. You can go on eBay and get a card for $1 or $2, or you can go, you can get $100 card or $200 card, and if you want to enhance your collection, improve your collection, and you want to talk to the auction companies, and maybe you have a rookie Wayne Gretzky that you want to move because you're looking to you'd really like to get a Jackie Robinson card or a Willie Mays rookie card or whatever. So there's a space, I think, for every type of collector in the auction world. Would you agree, Ryan?
I would, and I think another kind of lost point, some of the auction business doesn't get people don't look at it closely enough, is the educational value of what the auction house is actually providing you, in the fact that these prices realize the catalogs that you get, they're history books. It's like a free college course that you can literally learn about anything that you're collecting, right? You can go, like we were just talking about original photographs, go back to some of these auction houses that have sold original photographs, and you can look at how they've been authenticated. You can read the descriptions about what makes them unique, whether it's game worn jerseys, for example. Again, you could go back to the prices realized, and you can start doing your research on game worn jerseys, and you can look at the tagging, you can look at the styles, you can look at the companies that have done the authentication.
Yeah, and the photo matching. And
the photo matching. I mean, this is like, it's free history books for you. You can literally get a college course almost in anything that's in our industry as a whole by looking through prices realized, past auction catalogs. That's something I think a lot of people still don't take great advantage of. It's a little bit time consuming, but again, if you want to get into something as a collector, or even again, if you have material that you're not even sure what it is, you can go to these prices realized and really get a nice education, learn a little bit, have some background knowledge before you even talk to anybody else. And I think it's something that, again, as a technology improves, I think that's one area that's helped our industry as a whole, is because of technology, you now have these resources accessible to everybody. And I think that's kind of going back to something we talked about a little bit earlier. But that, I would say, that's one of the biggest amazing things that technology has provided us, is the ability to have this information at our fingertips. Very important.
Guys, and sharing information at your fingertips, and that's what Auction Report is all about. Make sure you check it out, auctionreport.com. Please follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Their content is fabulous. If it happens in the auction world, it's gonna be on Ryan's site. Ryan Friedman, if you want to send a question, if you have a question, anything about auctions, send him an email at info@auctionreport.com. And guys, make sure you sign up for the free newsletter. It comes out a couple times a week. I love getting it. I've been getting it for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now, and I really look forward to it. So Ryan, we went a little over today, but I want to thank you for your time. We hadn't had you on in a while, and it was great to catch up and talk a little national and auction, and I just love your site and what you guys do. And please, don't be such a stranger, okay?
I'll be on anytime you want, man. Thank you very much, and I hope everyone does enjoy our website, auctionreport.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will. We'll talk to you later. Buying and selling sports cards has never been easier, thanks to the free Collects app. With over 1 million collectors using the app, you can find just about anything. Buy and add to your PC, earn money selling cards, and trade up to get your Grail card. Easily check out with a credit card, generate shipping labels and tracking, and redeem credits to put towards deals. Download Collects, that's Collects, COLLX, for free on the App Store or Google Play today. Well, Drew, I really love to talk to these guys that are invested in our hobby, like guys like Ryan and Ryan at Gem Rate, and Rich Miller at sportscollectorsdaily.com, and Jeff Owens. These guys, that's what they do every day, right? All day, every day. And it's great to get their input on something that you and we just can't be specialists in everything, right? But we know
Right.
we know the TTM world. I think we're right up there in the TTM world, but these guys come in and they add their expertise to a section of our hobby that I'm truly interested in, but there's just not enough time in the world to be an expert on all this stuff, right?
Yeah, it's all about networking. If you don't know it, find somebody who does and go to them, bring them in for stuff. I mean, that's why we've got, Les around. That's why we've got Clemente around. They can get to those pieces that we really don't know a whole lot about, and find the experts, bring them in.
Yeah, that's what we do. Well, guys, Saturday show, we're gonna have Les Wolf. Les is gonna be doing appraisals. So I've got 4 items that he's gonna appraise. We're actually gonna do the appraisal later this morning, and we'll play that on Saturday. So Les Wolf doing appraisals, and we'll also talk to Les about the East Coast National that he just got back from, that he went to. We also spoke with Josh Rawich, who is the 8th all-time president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. It amazed me that we've had the Baseball Hall of Fame since the 30s. There's only been 8 presidents. So
that's amazing. I mean, you're dealing with 90 years across only 8 people, and that's, averages out to about 12 years per person. But I'm sure there have been a few that have gone super long in there.
Josh is a relative young guy, and he's a real passionate collector. He is a vintage card collector. We talked to Josh about collecting, about the Hall of Fame in general, and where they have some of their exhibits. I'll give you a quiz, and then this is one thing that Josh and I talked about.
All right,
the Hall of Fame has over 40,000 items that they can exhibit. How many do they exhibit at one time?
I would say maybe 10% of that.
They sent 10%, 4,000 items.
Wow.
So imagine all the stuff that they have, and it's just so cool to think about going into their archives and there's Babe Ruth's whatever, and Lou Gehrig's toothbrush, and they just have all that stuff. Yeah. It's amazing. So we're gonna have on Saturday, we have Les Wolf doing appraisals, Josh Rawich talking about the Hall of Fame. Drew, anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, I think we got everything pretty well covered here, and if we get more, well, we've got Saturday coming up.
How's your TTM return so far this week?
Crappy. Not a single one.
Yeah, I think I got 1 or 2.
Yeah. I haven't gotten anything in yet at all, so I'm hoping that changes. And if not, well, like I said, I'm going to games Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so hopefully I'll at least have the Friday game to talk about when we record on Saturday, and then cover the other 2 next week.
Yeah, I got John Staggers. I got Lee Guterman. This one's a good one. Jack McKeon. I got Jack McKeon.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nice one. And okay, how about this one? I don't bet you can't know where this guy played. Ready?
All right. Yeah.
He's a baseball player. T.R. Bryden.
Formerly of the California Angels.
Very good.
Yes.
I
remember that because I think he's in the 87 top set, if I remember.
So I got 87 top set.
Yep.
Yeah, now I love guys that I know. I forget who played. So I sent him off, and he signed pretty quickly. So, okay, guys, we're wishing everyone many happy returns. We will see you on Saturday. Be good.